A lot of people are probably missing the Blue Tokai fries and all the cool thing that happen, when they get to visit a Blue Tokai store. Have you been getting frantic calls?
Not so much for the fries, but for the coffee we we have. Luckily, we have around 60% of our locations are open now for takeaway and delivery, and a few cities are open for dining also.
So at this moment, takeaways are probably going through the roof, or you're finding more of your equipment and other products, a lot more.
Yeah, there's been a evolution. So in the beginning, so in April, people were almost, I would say 75% of the orders were for beans and equipment. People were very hesitant to order any prepared item outside of their home. Now, the longer the situation has gone on, there's now an overwhelming evidence that you can't get corona through food. So consumer confidence has increased, and now people are starting to order more brewed coffee and food from the cafes also.
Hey, Matt, I know we jumped straight into the conversation, but there's so much story to starting of Blue Tokai, and being at the forefront of uh, what most people call the third wave of coffee. Right? There's this whole buzz around the US and then in Southeast Asia, where third wave. What did third wave mean? It's primarily getting coffee from specific estate, right? Instead of having this mass-produced coffee. How did this third wave happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not necessarily getting it from sourcing from a particular state is just part of it. But so to me, third wave means that you're focusing on quality throughout the process. So from sourcing to roasting to brewing, quality of the beverage and the coffee is the ultimate consideration.
So when you started Blue Tokai, was that where you saw a huge gap in the market that you wanted to fill? Because I know that you are an economist, right?
Yeah, was it? So actually, we didn't. We started. My wife and I started Blue Tokai more on a whim than anything else. It wasn't. We did some detailed study of the coffee industry in India and identified, okay, this is the gap here, and let's target this gap. It was that we were looking for good tasting coffee for us to consume at home. And so we started initially just searching around, trying to find other roasters who would be able to give us that experience. And then only after we started this process and couldn't find what we were looking for, then we thought, okay, maybe this is something that we should do ourselves. So it wasn't, the business aspect was sort of superseded by our desire to have a good cup of coffee.
So when you did start, you had just come from the US, or you had already spent a little bit of time in India?
Yeah, I moved in this January of 2011 to Chennai, and I was working in an organization doing research projects. So that's actually where I met Namrata. So we were both working at the same organization, and so we were there for about a year. Then Chennai wasn't exactly the city that that I enjoyed. So Namrata's parents were from Delhi, and so in visiting Delhi, I really liked it here. So we moved to Delhi in 2012, still working. And then only after about 6 months in, we decided we were both at points in our careers where we wanted to do something on our own. So
Oh, wow.
then this.
Well, Chennai is my hometown, so you can only say so many bad things about it.
No, I mean my family is from there. My uncles live there. I visit, and actually it was a great place for us socially. I just think that weather it's quite hot, and it's
All throughout the year.
still very, yeah. It's also a little bit of a traditional place, very family centric. I just found that Delhi to be more of a more maybe cosmopolitan city than Bombay.
When you guys started, I remember in about 2014 is when I first reached out to you when I was starting my, online marketplace for coffee. And when going through that process, I realized there was all the other brands, and then there was Blue Tokai, where there was subscription, you had, specific, coffee sourced from specific locations. I would imagine that a lot of that involved not only educating the audience, but also spending that much extra time. And now you have so many roasters, right?
Mhm.
Kind of riding, in my opinion, I think they rode the coattails of Tokai. How do you think about this?
No, I mean, I think we also what we did was not like we were the first company in the world to do this, right? So in a way, we've also ridden the coattails of especially coffee companies around the world, right?
Right.
It's just that maybe in India at the time that we started, no one was doing the combination of things that we were doing at that time, and so we had maybe we were the first to do it here, but at the same time, especially coffee has been in other countries for a long time. So I think it's nice to see that other people are following this. It's nice to see that this market is growing, and I think that's great. The
In the 7 years you've done this, what has been, or 8 years, what has been the biggest kind of shift in mindset or trend?
Wow. I mean, I think there hasn't been a huge shift. I think it's been every year we notice a gradual shift more towards premium products. I don't think, I mean, coffee is one example, but you can see this also with beer. The craft beer movement now is quite strong in India. You see it with artisanal cheese companies. Now there's many of these, yogurt, all kind of these food items. Every year there's more and more brands coming up and more options available. And so I think as a consumer, that's fantastic. That's great that people are moving away from kind of the mass average quality items towards these more carefully produced food products.
When you look at craft, and this is niche, right? There's a certain segment that wants it. They're obviously looking for more and more kind of things to go towards. But does it mean the wallet share is still small of these customers that you're going after?
So I think there's a mix. There sort of the hardcore coffee consumers who already have a fairly evolved idea of what specialty coffee is, and they're consuming a lot of coffee. They're getting the equipment, they're getting the scales, they're getting the grinders. So in that segment, that would be a significant share. If you're drinking 2, 3, 4 cups of coffee a day, then that a significant portion of money is going towards that. But I think as we've evolved as a company, our goal is to get more and more people into drinking better quality coffee. I think already specialty coffee can be quite alienating to the average consumer, right? You think that there's these specific recipes that you have to use to brew the coffee, and you have to invest in this expensive, fancy equipment, and that creates a very high barrier to get more and more people interested in it. And we want to do what we can to sort of break down that barrier, whether it's through making like ready to drink options with cold brews, or ready to brew options like those single serve easy pour sachets that we have. I think it's figuring out ways to reach people, because ultimately, once you start drinking better quality coffee, it's very difficult to go back to the commercial or instant coffees. So it takes a lot of effort to push people along in that journey. But once you get them along, then they tend to be a customer for a long time.